if people are so upset that they want to go on the streets and spray slurry on them, then we don't need the small farmers.
Could Labour's new inheritance tax on family farms be the beginning of the end for Britain's countryside? Farmers are furious, with Nigel Farage leading the charge against a tax he says could destroy rural life and devastate family farms across the nation. Today, we're diving into a major controversy over Labour's proposed inheritance tax changes that could hit family farms hard. Nigel Farage is sounding the alarm, warning that this family farm tax could be a disaster for Britain's farmers and our food security. Let's unpack what's at stake. In an 8-word warning to Chancellor Rachel Reeves, Farage said, "Labour should not underestimate the fury of farmers." That's a clear message from Nigel Farage as he and farmers gear up for a protest in Westminster against Labour's proposed changes. And here's why they're so outraged. Currently, family-owned farmland is exempt from inheritance tax, allowing farms to be passed down without massive tax bills. But under Labour's new plan, that exemption would be removed, meaning families inheriting farmland could face huge taxes, potentially forcing them to sell. And it's not just about taxes, it's about the survival of family farms that have been in families for generations. Nigel Farage believes this plan could devastate the countryside, forcing countless family farms to close and selling off land to the highest bidder. And if that wasn't enough, comments from former Tony Blair advisor John McTernan have only added fuel to the fire. In a recent interview, McTernan actually suggested that small farmers should be treated like Thatcher treated the miners, even saying, "We don't need small farmers." As you can imagine, that statement has sparked outrage. Farage fired back, accusing Labour of waging class war and getting their own back for the miners' strike of the 1980s. He believes that Labour's tax changes could be a deliberate attack on rural Britain. Dr. Neil Hudson has also spoken out, calling this tax raid heartless and a threat to Britain's food security. In his first frontbench speech, Dr. Hudson painted a grim picture of what this could mean for rural communities. He said, "No farms, no food, no farmers, no food." He argued that Labour's family farm tax could hollow out rural communities, damage mental health, and open the countryside up to developers and investors. Think about it. Fewer farms could mean less food security. With rising global food costs and the need for locally sourced food, many believe this is a time to strengthen, not weaken, support for farmers. Dr. Hudson warns, food security is national security. If our family farms can't survive, we could end up relying more on expensive imports, putting us all at risk in times of global instability. So let's break it down. On one side, Labour argues that this tax could bring in much-needed revenue. But critics say it's a short-sighted move that could push farmers out of business, hollow out rural communities, and threaten our food security. What do you think? Should family farms be protected from inheritance tax to safeguard our countryside and food supply? Or is this a necessary step? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear where you stand on this.